Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ahmed Al-Hasni here from the Institute of Digital Dentistry. Today we're unboxing the Medit i900 Classic, which was launched in IDS 2025. Now, if you've been following Medit's journey, you'll remember that they released the original i900 back in April 2024 with touch controls. Well, it turns out not everyone was a fan of the touch interface, myself included, as I mentioned in my i900 review. Well, Medit listened to user feedback, and now we have the i900 Classic that I have here with me, and that brings back the traditional button interface that many of us prefer. So why did Medit release this classic version? Simple, choice. They realized while some dentists may prefer touch controls, others want the reliability and familiarity of physical buttons. The i900 Classic gives you all the technological advancements of the flagship i900, the great optical engine, the wider scan window, it's lightweight at 165 grams, but with button controls instead of touch panels. Okay, so let's see what's inside the box. If you've been following Medit for some time, you'll remember that the i500, the i600, and the i700 all came with two boxes, one for the scanner and one for the accessories. Now this has all been streamlined into one box that we have here. Now if we open this up, you'll see that we get a very similar box and packaging to the original i900. So here we have the kind of user manual and setup guide. This tells you everything that you need to do to set up your i900. And just underneath that, we have this beefy user guide. So you have a whole book here if you ever need some nighttime reading that goes over everything Medit i900. Apart from that, if we move that aside, this is what you get with the i900 Classic. And it's again, basically the same as the original i900. What we have here is we have the scanner, the calibration tool, the cradle, scanner tips, USB cables, and a wall mount. So let's take a second to talk about this scanner, the i900 Classic. As mentioned, it's exactly the same as the i900, 165 grams, which makes it one of the most lightweight scanners on the market. It has a simple single USB-C connection to the computer, so no power adapters required. So let me get this cable out and I'll show you connecting that. So we have one cable here, USB-C to USB-C, and just underneath that we actually have another cable. This seems like it's quite a lot longer than this cable, and again this is USB-C to USB-C. I'm going to put this aside and you can see the connection is very simple. It connects just like that with this USB-C going into your computer. Now with the i900 Classic, the most obvious thing is we have this very large blue button now, and this is used for scanning. You just simply click and you can start the scanner as we are used to with all other Medit scanners. It also has the same kind of unibody design, and I have to say it looks like a modern scanner. The finish and materials on the scanner generally feel quite high quality, and it's amazing how lightweight it actually feels. There's also some LED indicators at the back of the scanner that help guide you during scanning with feedback about connectivity, etc. It also has Medit's third generation optical engine with better metal scanning and a larger depth of field. So once again, exactly the same as the original i900, but with a button. Now with the scanner, you do get 4 scanning tips. They come in a box just like that, and so just in here, you get 2 medium and 2 large scanning tips. These can be autoclaved up to 150 times, and a new box of scanning tips costs 300 USD. This comes with 4 tips in a box, so 75 USD per tip. And this makes them some of the more affordable scanning tips on the market in terms of a premium scanner. As mentioned, each tip can be autoclaved 150 times, so that's about 50 cents per patient use. Notably is these larger scanning tips that come with the i900 original and the classic. And these are much larger than any previous Medit scanner tip. And to be honest, I prefer these when I can use them. They are at a 18 by 15 millimeter field of view. And I personally find these larger tips to just be faster to use, especially for edentulous scanning. So the scanner is quite simple. You get this protective cover here that just comes off, and then you can simply put the scanner tip into place. And notably, this is a non-reversible scanner tip, so it only fits in one way. And this is kind of becoming a market trend now. Most scanner tips only fit in one way. Those of you who remember, it was kind of like a trend to be able to spin the scanner tip around, but thankfully that has all gone away and they just fit in a single way, and that's it. And pretty much this is your Medit i900 Classic. You plug in the USB-C, you put it into your laptop, and this can be ready to use. The other things we have in here, as mentioned, calibration tool. So the Medit i900 is a scanner that requires calibration, and we have this scanner cradle. Pretty straightforward, and it sits in just like that. A much smaller scanner cradle than found in the i700 or i500. We have a wall mount for those of you who like to wall mount your scanner. We have a practice model, and we have a USB. And I really like it. It's a much more streamlined box, really to the point, and this is basically everything you get with the i900 Classic. So what does this all cost? Well, pricing varies by market, but in USD, the i900, either the Classic with the button or the original with the touchpad, is 18,999 USD. For reference, the i700 wireless is now 15,500 USD, the i700 wired is 13,500 USD, and the i600, the most economical scanner from Medit, is 10,500 USD. And the recently announced Medit i900 Mobility, the wireless version of the i900 that has an iPad native scanner app, is 21,999 USD. And I will cover that soon. So that is the entire Medit lineup as it stands today. Now, before we finish up, I did want to talk about something that really sets Medit apart, and that is their software ecosystem. Medit has arguably one of the best scanner software packages and a range of applications on the market, and they have had so for a while now. The software works well with workflows for everything: restorative, orthodontics, implants, complete dentures, etc. It's very comprehensive, and more importantly, it's very flexible, allowing you to add scan windows, remove scan windows, etc. Now here's something important to note. Medit has recently started charging non-Medit users for access to their applications. But if you buy a Medit scanner like the i900 Classic, you'll get to enjoy their software apps completely for free, including the famous Model Builder app that many of us have come to rely on. But here's the really big news that I wanted to highlight. Since the release of the original i900, Medit has released their SmartX Grammetry Workflow. And this is huge, because after Shining 3D released the ARL Scan Elite with their horizontal scan body IPG solution, it really challenged the entire industry. Everyone had to respond. We saw 3Shape partner with True Abutment for their All-on-X solution, and now Medit has since developed their own answer with SmartX Grammetry. This is a totally open system that works with various horizontal scan body systems like ScanLadder and Apollo, and this provides an excellent workflow for scanning these All-on-X cases. It's a totally new software workflow that really makes these cases quite straightforward. And I think it's an excellent response from Medit to stay competitive in this space. And honestly, as intraoral scanners become more commoditized, with most scanners now offering similar accuracy and fast speeds, one of the big differentiators now between scanners is software, edentulous scanning capabilities, and having a robust All-on-X workflow solution. Thankfully, with SmartX Grammetry, Medit definitely has this one covered. So there you have it. That is the Medit i900 Classic and everything you get with it. With the same excellent hardware as the flagship i900, but with a button interface that many of us prefer. all backed by what I consider to be one of the most comprehensive software ecosystems in digital dentistry today. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear them. Leave a comment below, and to keep up to date with all things digital dentistry, go to instituteofdigitaldentistry.com. Thanks for watching.